I'll go one more time. Make sure there's no knots. That simple using the bore snake. Right? So that's one way to clean the barrel. Using the bore snake. The other way was with the brushes and the jag and the patches. Okay, so I'll just put this on the side. This is also machine washable, so when it gets too dirty, wash it up. I store these in Ziplocs. Some oils and solvents don't play nice with Ziploc bags, and different Ziploc bags play nicely with, or play differently with the different solvents as well. One thing that I did find that I kind of like are prescription bottles. So you can use that as well. You can write on the outside if you want. If you don't have a lot of calibers, it's a lot easier. When you got a lot of calibers and you got the differences between rifle and pistol, now you're going to end up with bore snakes galore. Okay, so I got, you know, different colors. This one you can tell that the string is very long for, that's a rifle. This one is also a rifle. I don't know, so you get carried away real quick. Try and keep them organized. Make sure you got the right one when you're working on it. Alright, so as far as the barrel, you saw me clean the inside of this one. I'm going to call that good, the 3 times that I went. I'm going to throw this on the side, and that's good with that. Alright, I'm not using Hoppies today. I haven't tried this one. I've had this bottle for some time. This one is Hoppies number 9 Synthetic Blend. Let's crack it open, because if it doesn't smell the same, I don't think I'm going to use it. This is my brass rod. I don't know where I picked this up. I would like to get one more. It's probably like Shooter's Choice or something. But brass is softer than most of the metals that firearms are made of, so it won't mar or scratch and dig into the metal itself, but it could damage some of the bluing. It'll leave like a line on there, and then generally they'll wipe off like it just did on that. Anyway, I'm punching this. I don't try to peel these out anymore, because what happens is the foil will peel away from one area and then not another area, and then it'll leak. So I just punch holes in these. Right? And I just push them in like that. Learned this in science class. It doesn't smell the same. That's my smelling this shot. Oh no, that's Hoppies number 9, man. All the way. Alright, so I think I'm sticking with the old stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll mess around with this later, but alright, so that's solvents. Now, patch like this, you saw me use it. I'm actually going to continue using it. And I'm not going to wipe it with the CLP. I think I'll just, I know I got these patches. What happened was this one cracked and it kind of dried out. I can smell it, but when I wipe it, oh no, there's still powder on there, or enough on there. So let me wipe this down. I don't know how clean this piece is. Alright, places I want to spend particular attention are the feed ramp. That's this back portion of the barrel where the magazine would be lined up with, and the cartridge would feed from here into the barrel. So that's your feed ramp. I want to make sure that's clean. And that would generally get fouled up with lead or carbon. And you can see some of the black coming off. I want to wipe all the rest around the chamber. And this is where if I use you know, like the correct size brush, I could clean the chamber portion a little bit better, because the brushes from the bore snake was actually meant for the barrel itself, or the rifling. The chamber is slightly larger, right? So let's wrap the brush around like this. And I'm going in the same direction or rotation that I wrap the patch, that's the rotation that I'm going to push this in. If not, it's just going to come out. And it's a tight fit, I can hear it. And I'm just going to call that good. So make sure all my chambers is nice and clean. Good. The patch is still good. It's not all black. I'm going to keep going. Alright, I'm wiping all around the chamber area. You got these little nooks and crannies. I'm using my fingernail to push the patch into those tight spots and go in line with it. This one has a loaded chamber indicator, that notch there. And make sure I clean in there. I'll bend and conform the patches to fit in the places I need. I'll utilize the brass tools, whatever you got at your disposal to help you accomplish the job. And all you're trying to do is wipe the metal clean. And that's, I mean, you can really get really nitty gritty or just get it so-so. When I'm in a rush, I'll do it so-so. When I'm trying to do something like this, I'll get nitty gritty. Right there, that was really black. So that was where this locks up on the Sig. The takedown lever will catch that, and that's actually where it'll lock in front here, and this part here catches in front on the FCU, and that's where it locks up, and it kind of just rides like this. Okay. I want to make sure that clean because that is a pivot point. Let's go to another section, and even with the hole in the bottom, I usually cover this up, but even with the hole in there, it's been in my metal ammo can, so I guess that's why my ammo can smells like an air freshener of Hoppy's number 9 when I opened it. And it's not all dried out because the ammo can seals really good. I know I talk about this in the class, that the plastic ammo cans, they're kind of crappy, they don't seal real well. So if you're gonna get one, get the metal one. GI cans are the best. Alright, and now your muzzle. Make sure you clean the muzzle. And for most applications, I'll just put my finger pressure on the pad and I'll wipe in a circle, and I can feel the cuts from the rifling is where they meet the crown. You want to make sure that that's all good. So your rifling coming out, spinning the projectile, and where it meets the muzzle, so your crown, you want to make sure you take care of that. If you are shooting paper, you should have nice symmetrical holes. If you're getting oblong shapes, it's tumbling, something's wrong with your muzzle. Right? It might be nicked or corroded really bad with either lead or some kind of buildup. So make sure you take care of that. When you wipe it, you can see the circle marks. This is the first one. The second one, I'll do another section. Shouldn't see anything. Yeah, so that's just the indentations. So that's good. All right, I'm going to put this barrel on the side, and I know it's all over my hands, but I got the residue from the Hoppies on there. I'm good at that, right? This patch still going. Now I'm going to clean inside the slide, and this is when you're going to start this thing, or seeing this thing turn black. So the slide, you got rails that capture onto the frame. You got to get in all those little crevices and recesses, and this is where it gets kind of time consuming. And I just run this back and forth, and just a couple wipes. Look at that, all black. So that's from your powder, the gunpowder. All right, so this is where you're going to burn some patches cleaning this portion of the slide. So wipe them all good. Don't get a sloppy patch in here and start dripping all down inside where the striker is. You don't want anything in there, including oil. Okay. Make sure you guys read the owner's manual on where to lubricate as well. You don't want a lot of lubrication on the striker or the firing pin block. That's this button here. These holes are not for dropping oil in there. They're weep holes so that crap can come out. You want them dry. You don't want them to attract dust or grit and gum up and get stuck. This is your, I don't want to mess with this one too much because it's actually part of my surface that connects to the sear. So, but the striker is here. It's spring loaded and it's like a pinball machine, right? So when it catches on this back portion here, when you rack the slide, that portion is up, it catches that and it holds it in a under tension, right? When you pull the trigger, that piece will go down and allow this to come forward. But not just that, if it were to slip off by accident, they have this block in here, and I hope it's focusing enough. So this firing pin, the tip of the firing pin will come out here, and this is your breech face, and your cartridge is here and the primer is right in the center. So it won't allow that firing pin to come forward until you press on this button. And now you can see the firing pin comes up through and will allow the striker to hit the primer and getting your shot off. And then as soon as it resets, you heard the click, it re-engaged again. I'm trying to squeeze it forward, it won't because this button came back out. And that's the mechanical function. We call that like your drop safety, so that it doesn't just slip off and go off by itself. Okay? What deactivates that button is the trigger. And in here, there's a little nub on this side. When you put your finger on the trigger and you prep in the trigger, it defeats that firing pin block. And you continue to pull, and this would actuate, and it would allow the striker to go completely forward. This is in the Sig Sauers. All the 320s have them. It's in my Sig Sauer 1911. It's in my Glock. It's in my Smith & Wesson. It's in my Taurus, right? This firing pin block in this auto guns, and it works mechanically. It works, but I can see where you might have a problem if you're oiling these and you're not supposed to. If you read the Glock manual, all the manuals tell you don't oil this. You don't want oil in these weep holes. Okay? Keep them dry. You can take the pieces apart, wipe it dry, lubricate them, wipe them dry. What's on the metal is good enough. You don't need anything more. Okay? All right. So I'm going to just continue wiping in the groove, and with the solvents and with red dots, you don't want to get this thing dripping sideways and whatnot to ruin up my glass or anything. So be careful of that as well. So I'm just forcing the patch into the side rail. I'm wiping that. I got some black coming out, so I'll go to another spot. Now you can see the patch is getting used up well. All right. And then another thing you can utilize is Q-tips. Right, so be careful, especially with newer guns. The Smith & Wesson is really sharp. When you're running your fingers in here, you could catch a sharp edge and cut yourself. So be wary of that. Make sure you clean the breech face really well, and then not just the breech face, but under the extractor. So this little arm here comes over. That's what grabs the brass and pulls it out from the chamber after it fired and it flared up to seal off that gas. So make sure you clean under there. If I'm looking here, so my breech face, I got some carbon buildup. I'm going to use a brush, phosphor bronze. Wipe it, and I just wiped my lens. Right, I'm going to get aggressive and use just the brass, holding it flat and then scraping it crossway, and I'm going to wipe it, and now I can see it coming off. And that's why these tools are really useful, because our fingers don't fit. Alright. Sometimes I'll touch this up, because it'll get rounded, it'll get worn out. I'll touch it up with a little file, make it square again. Make sure there's no nicks or dings on it. And I like that tool a lot. I want one more so I can have extra. So I got more than one cleaning bag. Alright, checking against, looking at a white surface so I can see through light behind there. And make sure it's all clean. Alright, so I got in here, wiped in here, the two rails downside. Try to wipe out in front here. I want to wipe in the front where the muzzle goes, because you do get some carbon buildup there a lot on the front, especially if you have like a compensator. Yeah, you gotta clean them all on top really well. Alright, that's pretty good. Now I'm gonna say, maybe I'll throw this away, or I'll save it for the next phase of the next dirty gun. I'm gonna take a clean patch and follow it up. I'm just wiping. You still got residue on there. The solvent's on there. It's working. And I'm just gonna go until I'm happy with how clean it comes out. Right? Alright, so I'll just continually go this route with clean patch. Go till it's not clean. And then go back again and go back again and again and again, and it gets tedious, but that's what you got to do when you go nitty gritty. The ultrasonic cleaner, you just drop this thing in the liquid and let it have at it. When I said just drop it in the liquid, not if you got optics like this. You got to remove this off, and that's not waterproof. Unless the RMR is, I don't own one. Right. But open top emitter like this, I'm fairly certain I'm not supposed to get that submerged. Alright, the other place to pay attention is the ejection port. Wipe all around that area, just like we were wiping the breech face. I want to make sure the edges of the port are clean. And whatever residual. A lot of times I'll wipe it on, wipe it off. Whatever's left in the metal, that's all I need. Alright.